Alright everyone, before I begin, there will be a link in the description of this video as well as a pinned comment if you're watching on YouTube. There is an ongoing contest. When I hit 100,000 subscribers on BitChute, a randomly chosen active account will receive $250, and 5 runners-up will receive $50 and an official BitChute hat. So I just thought I'd throw that out there because, I want to get to 100,000, but also, you can get Styx's money, so it's a good idea. Anyway, we gotta talk about Bloomberg a little bit because it shows the astonishing hypocrisy of the left wing of politics. Here we've got a situation, for those not aware, and it was fairly widely announced, Michael Bloomberg had pledged months ago that he would dump shit tons of money into the election for Biden. And essentially he was trying to intimidate Trump, because of course, Trump is a rich man. Bloomberg is richer. Bloomberg, I think, has like $10 billion more dollars, and it's not even all tied up in investments and in property. Like with Trump, he has to liquidate his standing property, which he doesn't even directly control at the moment, in order to maneuver cash-wise. Bloomberg doesn't have that problem. He can literally like swim in $100 bills and then light them on fire. He pledged that months ago, and people started complaining because he hadn't really freed up his fortune. Now he's pledging $100 million just in Florida for electing Joe Biden through I guess, a super PAC or something. Didn't Bernie Sanders and all of these other leftists spend the last few months criticizing billionaire cash in politics? Haven't you, at least every election, mentioned Citizens United and the problem of people who are really wealthy being able to buy elections? See, Trump didn't do that. Trump had relatively few big business bankers in 2016. Even now, it's almost even Stevens. The Dems used to be sort of a grassroots party, and what we're seeing is that's no longer really the case. A lot of the money comes from like Goldman Sachs and stuff like that, and you've got this person who's worth several times more than Trump is, dumping $100 million into Florida. Bernie has said nothing, because he's a fucking sellout, and he won't say anything. He won't say jack. You haven't heard anything from the Gang of Four, the AOC, Ilhan Omar leftist crowd. You don't hear the breadline tubers shrieking about billionaires buying elections. Because they're happy about it, because they all support Joe Biden, because they're literally all a bunch of opportunistic, grifting, sellout hacks. That's really why it is. You're not going to hear from the leftists about Bloomberg pouring millions into the race. Especially in Florida. Florida's hotly contested. Here's the other thing. Biden must be goddamn freaking out about the polling in Florida. Because if you look at the other battleground states, and in many of them, he is inarguably ahead. It's narrowing, but he's had at least a 2-3 point lead in some of these states. In some, it's almost double digits. In Florida, it's been 50-50 all along. That is a huge chunk of electoral votes that Biden arguably cannot afford to lose. When he looks at Pennsylvania, and he looks at the registration totals between Republicans and Democrats, because the Republicans are doing the legwork. Trump's people are actually doing the legwork of getting people signed up. In states, most of the states that are going to have universal mail-in, in which the registration matters relatively less, most of them are just blue states anyway. Like Vermont. Vermont is automatically opting everyone in for a mail-in ballot. Doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter how many ballots are cast in Vermont. It's a safe blue state. It's one of the safest. I would argue that in another election cycle it might technically become a swing state because of how badly Bernie was treated. Bernie doesn't do himself any favors by not calling this out. I seem to recall him shrieking about Michael Bloomberg during the primaries multiple times. Why doesn't he have a problem with his $100 million ad buy now? Oh, that's right, because he's riding with Biden. Bernie decided to sell out, to embezzle, to pocket all of the money that all of his brain-dead fans sent to him, because they still, despite what I was saying and what other more cerebral individuals were saying, he never had a chance, but they believed he did, so they kept giving him a cut of their $10 that they get from their trust fund every month, and he lost anyway. Oh, no refunds, says Bernie Sanders. Oh, these billionaires are terrible people. Donald Trump, he doesn't know what it's like to be poor. He doesn't know what it's like to be working class. Oh, Michael Bloomberg? Oh, I don't know anything about that dude. Oh, yeah, the dude that I sparred with multiple times? Wow, that's okay, because he's got a D after his name. He's fighting for the good guys. It's like there's that meme where Bernie Sanders is, oh, we're going to destroy the establishment. Whoops, looks like I lost. All your money goes to the establishment. Vote for the establishment. That's literally what the left is about. These people are sellouts, and a lot of them are just cultists. I pointed this out like a week ago. Most of these people are just cultists for Bernie. They like Bernie Sanders because of his attitude. He's almost got kind of a Ron Paul-esque appeal. They don't know anything about the platform. They couldn't even tell you anything he's accomplished, other than naming some post offices. I loved it when all of the Bernie bots would do their wall of text bullshit shit posting, and then you could go through it and you could shoot down basically everything that they were saying during the primaries. I would sit there and chuckle. I would chuckle because I knew he would lose. It was obvious from day one. Dude, when Buttigieg won Iowa and then goes on to tie him in New Hampshire, the writing's on the fucking wall. At that point, it was only a matter of time before Biden knocked him out anyway, or Buttigieg managed to become heir apparent. You know, little rodent face there. And Buttigieg is actually worse. He's shown himself to be far less viable than initially believed, but he could have won the primaries, and at the very least, he'd be running a campaign. I can't imagine he'd be staying off the campaign trail and refusing to send staff out to register people to vote. Oh my God, are you delusional? But then you have Michael Bloomberg fundamentally trying to buy the election in one of these major states, and the left won't even bat an eye because Orange Man's so bad, because CNN, a multi-billion-dollar firm, owns them, told them so. Because billionaires told them that Trumpfler was the next Hitler, only less intelligent, and he wants to kill everyone, and he hates blacks, he hates women, he wants you barefoot in the kitchen, he hates gay people, he's very homophobic. You've heard all of this propaganda from the corporate media, and a tidal wave of it has washed over these people's feeble, smooth brains for several years now, and they've begun to absorb that and believe it. And so they don't have a problem being complete, total, goddamn fucking hypocrites, and looking at a billionaire literally flooding Florida with more money than some campaigns ever even spend. They don't see the problem. Well, I thought billionaires were bad. It's very funny. The Democrats perpetually, even Biden gets on board this, pretending that he doesn't have mostly billionaire buddies at this point. They constantly ramble about, well, Jeff Bezos made all this money and it's terrible. Warren Buffett is too rich. Bill Gates made $10 billion and it's wrong. We need to take all their money away to pay for a small fraction of all the social programs that we're promising you that we'll never deliver on. But they never have a problem with George Soros, and they never have a problem with Michael Bloomberg. They can spend billions of dollars in our political system. Not one of these leftists will ever criticize them. In fact, they'll call you a conspiracy theorist or a bad person if you do. Well, Michael Bloomberg is just a nut. He's a deeply anti-gun, anti-constitutional fuckwad who has ruined everything politically he's ever been involved with, is a total loser. The only real saving grace for him is that he managed to almost edge Elizabeth Warren down to 4th place in her own home state. That's basically his claim to fame. You don't even hear about Bloomberg. He gets like a 10-second speaking slot at the TNC for a reason, because he turns people off with his bullshit. They'll very quietly accept as much money as he can give them, though. Because if Biden wins, do you think he doesn't get a kickback? Of course he does. He'll be on the gun control task force, so to speak. He'll be palling around at the White House. Biden's presidency would essentially be a hootenanny, a free-for-all of billionaires and the politically connected who would mill around the White House like it was one goddamn giant party for 4 fucking years, while Biden just sits there bemused as other people run things for him because he's goddamn demented. That is what a Biden presidency would be like. It'd be kind of like late-term Clinton. Like, you remember when his drunken brother there was bumming around in the White House for extended periods? And people had a problem with it, and they're like, why is this happening? It'd be like that on steroids. It'd be like Animal House, only less exciting and less funny. That's what it would be like. And Bloomberg would definitely be there, along with George Soros. They'd be, they'd be with the Epstein crowd in the back room, probably. That's about all. Peace out.